to just dial back all of your ambitions to ski certain peaks, ride certain lines, and accept that maybe this year is the one where we tone it down.
Tonight, first responders continuing to warn people about the increased avalanche risk after a Summit County man lost his life in the backcountry.
Plus, it seems like we're turning a corner in the fight against COVID-19. Hear why public health officials say we should not let our guard down just yet.
A different kind of Sundance this year will show you how the virtual move is impacting local businesses.
And we look to extend the break from the storms for now, but a fast approaching system looks to change that. I'll share the timing for our next storm coming up.
Live from Utah's news leader, Fox 13 News at 9 starts right now.
A tragic ending in Summit County as deputies and first responders recover the body of a man buried by an avalanche yesterday. This is Fox 13 News at 9. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Brian Schnee.
And I'm Amy Nay. We begin with sad news tonight as the victim has been identified as 57-year-old Kurt Damschroeder, a longtime resident of Park City. Fox 13's Diego Romo spoke with the Summit County Sheriff's Office about this tragic accident.
My understanding, he was buried in 4 to 5 feet of snow. And so they were able to get him out about 11 o'clock this morning.
Summit County Sheriff's search and rescue team, as well as the Department of Public Safety, had to call off recovery efforts Saturday evening because of dangerous snow conditions.
This morning, our search and rescue team, with the assistance of the Utah Department of Public Safety helicopter, they reconvened at 7 a.m.
In order to reach Damschroeder safely, crews did mitigation work in the backcountry zone where the slide happened.
That included them taking some explosives in the DPS helicopter and dropping it in the area, and they actually triggered quite a few slides.
The avalanche was triggered just after 3 Saturday afternoon in the area known as Square Top, just outside of Park City Mountain Canyon's village boundaries.
Over the years, this is an area known to be very deadly. If someone gets in the area and triggers an avalanche, it's usually not a great outcome.
Damschroeder, an outdoor enthusiast and experienced skier, had all of the proper backcountry gear with him.
He had a beacon, he had a probe, he had a shovel, but as you know, a lot of snow coming down, you're at the mercy of the weight of that snow and the fast movement. I understand it carried him quite a ways down. Several hundred yards is what was described to me by our investigators.
Damschroeder was skiing with a partner who was able to dig him out roughly 15 minutes after the slide was triggered.
He did life-saving efforts for more than an hour until finally he had to get out of the area because of the safety of the risk. Really truly understand the risk that you have going into the backcountry like that in areas where there's not avalanche control.
The Summit County Sheriff's Office urges everyone to check the Utah Avalanche Center's daily forecast before heading out into the backcountry. We'll link you over to their website at fox13now.com. In Park City, Diego Romo, Fox 13 News, Utah.
With parts of the state of Utah facing a high avalanche risk, the Utah Avalanche Center wants to remind those who pursue the backcountry on how to be prepared. They say many of the fatalities that resulted from avalanche in previous years could have been prevented had each person been equipped with the right gear, such as radios, beacons, probes, and a form of satellite communication, slope meters, and snow study kits, as well as avalanche shovels.
I think the last 6 or 7 fatalities in Utah, the victim or someone in their group has been lacking that gear, and it probably contributed to their death.
While there are plenty of measures you can take to prepare for an avalanche, the best way to avoid a slide is to simply stay out of the backcountry. The Utah Avalanche Center suggests saving your backcountry adventures for a year with a better snowpack.
So we want to talk about that snowpack right now. Breck is standing by with more on those conditions out there and what we can expect as we move ahead with additional storms on the way.
Now, we do have some additional storms to talk about, but looking at today and our current conditions as it relates to the avalanche situation, where a little bit of a change here, considerable danger as we look across extreme northern Utah versus yesterday. You were in the high category, so a little bit of improvement there. Western Uinta Mountains also in that considerable level, and then the Manti skyline. But for most of the Wasatch Mountains, still remaining high moving into Monday. Of course, it was a busy weekend. Many of you enjoying that fresh powder as you got it in the backcountry, but also at the ski resorts. So As we always say, especially after a storm that brings that type of level of snow, a foot to a foot and a half of snow, we know that will continue to be a concern with that weak layer below. So a reignition as we do look at subsequent storms moving through the rest of the winter. Now let's take a view at Alta right now. Starlit sky there, a few high clouds tracking in. It's really been a beautiful day though, with temperatures above normal. We had the sunshine throughout most of the day, as highs getting up close to 50 degrees in Salt Lake City. The official high 47, 45 though in Ogden. We didn't get out of the 30s in Logan. Also towards Vernal, it was a little bit more colder. Your high today 32 degrees, 47 in Cedar City, and in St. George, you made it up to 55 degrees, where we're holding on to the upper 40s in the Dixie area. 30s right now along the Wasatch Front. Now with these high-level clouds in place and more of a southwesterly flow, temperatures shouldn't be quite as cold as we experienced last night, but it still gets down there as we're seeing those clouds track through right now as we look across west central towards southwestern Utah, and you see that flow out of the southwest. We're going to be spreading these clouds across the state, but notice from radar, no activity. Yeah, we're not going to be looking at any shower threat to start your work week off. Expected low in Salt Lake City, 26 degrees tonight. We hold on to the clouds, but there will be a possibility of some showers as we look this upcoming week. We'll talk about that next storm, and will it bring rain or snow to the valleys? I'll let you know coming up.
We turn now to a developing story. In Salt Lake City, police are trying to figure out what led to a man being found dead in the Jordan River this afternoon.
A group of kayakers found the man's body just after 1 o'clock. Investigators believe the victim is in his late 30s or early 40s.
But that's, again, to be determined. Doesn't look like he's been in the water very long, but he certainly is deceased.
The man's identity has not been made public.
One local family's pets have died after their home caught fire in Salt Lake City early this morning. It happened near the corner of 14th West and 5th South. Smoke alarms woke the family up. They all ran out of the house. Firefighters were able to get there quick and put the fire out, although you see the damage here. No people were hurt, but the family dog and cat did not survive. The cause of the fire is under investigation.
Time now to talk about COVID-19 here in Utah. For the fourth day in a row, the Utah Department of Health is reporting a decline in new viral infections at just under 1,200 new cases today. Our weekly positivity rate is also falling. It's now below 17%. ICU beds in Utah are now at 82% capacity.
2 more Utahns have reportedly died from coronavirus. The victims were a woman from Iron County over the age of 85 and a Weber County man between the ages of 45 and 64. 1,665 Utahns have lost their lives to COVID-19.
And on the vaccine front, 310,000 Utahns have gotten their COVID-19 shot. 63,000 people have received the recommended second dose of the vaccine. And while it's encouraging to see a decrease in hospitalizations and those new case numbers, many health experts say we're not out of the woods quite yet. A spokesperson for the state health department says we need to stay diligent in sanitizing and washing our hands and in wearing masks when out in public and when close to other people, all as this vaccine continues to roll out. While Utah is trending in the right direction, public health officials say that could change at any moment.
We've seen that before, and it changed in an instant. So we really still need to keep doing what we're doing. The vaccines are encouraging, but it's going to be a while before it actually makes a difference.
Now, the Department of Health is also concerned about the UK variant of the coronavirus, said to be more contagious. 2 cases of that variant have been found here in Utah. Well, new at 9 in years past, this would be the time to try to take in a film or maybe rub shoulders with celebrities at the Sundance Film Festival in Park City. But everything has changed this year due to the pandemic as Sundance goes virtual.
Fox 13's Sydney Glenn is in Park City to show us how this move is impacting local businesses.
Brian and Amy, look around. Well, yes, there are still people out here. This is nothing like what we normally see during the first weekend of Sundance. You wouldn't be able to find a parking spot. There would be lines at the doors at all of the restaurants. Of course, that's not happening this year.
It is 100% slower.
A quiet Sunday afternoon in Park City. Yet it shouldn't be.
But normally it doesn't stop. It's just non-stop.
The Sundance Film Festival is virtual this year, leaving the theaters and many businesses here empty.
Did have a pretty busy day today. Saturdays and Sundays, weekends are fairly busy, but it was a lot slower.
Of course, it is still January in Park City with snow on the ground, which means tourists are still coming.
We just wanted a quick getaway to get some skiing in.
A perfect weekend to ski without the crazy crowds.
We decided what a perfect weekend to come, and we found out Sundance was not really going to happen. So we decided that's even more perfect.
Great for tourists, but not so much for business.
We're definitely making a lot less, and also like just the friendships and just the people who come during Sundance. They're amazing people.
The general manager at the eating establishment says she has had a few customers coming in not realizing that Sundance wasn't happening in person this year. They were out looking for celebrities, which of course just isn't really a thing this year. In Park City, Sydney Glenn, Fox 13 News, Utah.
You never know. We might get one or two just kind of casually coming by. Thanks so much, Sydney. We've got lots more for you ahead tonight on Fox 13 News at 9. The story of the kindness of strangers. Hear how one Salt Lake City native is working to help save the life of a man she's never met.
Rolling back regulations, why some say a Senate bill could make your next trip to the salon unsafe.
And Facebook is tracking what you do outside of the app. We'll explain how and what you can do to prevent that from happening when we come back. Back to more local news tonight. 2 people were sent to the hospital after a motorcycle crash in downtown Salt Lake City earlier this afternoon. Now, the victims were both riding on a motorcycle through the intersection of 3rd West and 8th South when they collided with another moving vehicle. One of the individuals is in critical condition, the other one in serious condition.
As I would ask that we all remind all of our motor vehicle operators that once we are out of foul weather conditions, that you can expect to see bicyclists and motorcycle riders in multiple intersections, and everyone needs to be exceptionally cautious that whether they're on a 2-wheeled vehicle or a 4-wheeled vehicle or larger.
Well, no word yet on if the driver will face any charges. On Utah's Capitol Hill, a bill that would scale back some of the licensing requirements for people who wash or style hair is gaining some traction.
Well, today, dozens of people protested this legislation that is now in the hands of the Utah House of Representatives. Fox 13's John Franke talked with supporters of the bill, and he lets us hear from those who think this proposal is a bad idea.
I had to go through 1,600 hours of school, which honestly wasn't enough.
Devin Johnson has spent most of her adult life as a licensed cosmetologist.
We're going to stand up for our clients, and we're going to stand up for ourselves.
Devin is fighting against a bill she believes will create health issues.
It's absolutely an abomination. It's not only an insult, but it's impractical. I mean, we're in a global pandemic, and you're going to deregulate businesses that touch people?
This is the bill that spurred the protest, Senate Bill 87. It creates an exemption from licensure for someone who only dries, styles, arranges, dresses, curls, hot irons, shampoos, or conditions hair.
It's a huge slap in the face.
Kathy Lynch has been a stylist for more than 3 decades. She's trained on safety and how to spot infectious diseases.
General public probably doesn't even realize how many things we're trained in.
But those who support the bill believe the current one-size-fits-all approach goes too far. The Libertas Institute wrote, requiring 1,600 hours of classes at a cosmetology school does not make sense for all situations. Adding those who only wash, blow dry, and style hair are required by law to pay a school instead for hundreds of hours of classes they do not need or want. But stylists believe all that training is in the public interest.
When you are touching people, there are infectious diseases and things that can be spread.
Gary Call fears if this regulation is loosened, what's next?
I mean, I can't go to a law firm and say, hey, I fight with my wife really, really well. I want to be a divorce lawyer.
To be clear, this legislation does not change the requirements for those who cut hair. Meanwhile, those who don't have a license will be required to get a hair safety permit. This bill passed the Senate on Friday by a vote of 21-8. It now heads to the House. On the Hill, John Franke, Fox 13 News, Utah.
The Utah Highway Patrol says despite fewer drivers being out in the pandemic, there were more deaths on the roads in 2020 compared to last year. Now, in 2019, there were 281 deaths related to crashes. In 2019, there were 248. But an interesting thing to note, there were still fewer overall crashes last year compared to the year before. There were around 52,000 accidents in 2020, about 10,000 fewer than 2019. For more information on the story, we've got it for you on our website, which is fox13now.com.
So a lot of us spend a lot of time on social media. Well, these days, Facebook isn't just tracking your activity on the platform, they're also tracking your activity outside of the Facebook app and website. Off Facebook activity includes information that businesses and organizations then send back to Facebook about your interactions with them. Facebook says they use this data to show you more relevant ads. Some see it as an invasion of privacy. Facebook says you have the option to turn it off.
They're not doing anything illegal. There are different policies that govern data privacy, and there are different types of terms of service that companies may have that individuals may want to research more to find out if those privacy options reflect their preferences.
Now, Facebook also has a dashboard that lets you go through all of your privacy settings and adjust them at any time, but a lot of people don't know about it. If you'd like detailed instructions on how to access that dashboard, as well as how to disable off Facebook activity tracking altogether, you can go to fox13now.com.
Now, the beauty of social media, that's where you get to post all of your great weather photos, what you're seeing, what you're doing out there, maybe enjoying some snow. Breck, did you get a bunch today?
Oh, I got a bunch today and throughout the weekend. Of course, yesterday morning, got a lot of powder shots. A lot of you are heading up to the resorts doing the backcountry thing, where last week it was a great week for storms. You recall, starting the work week off southern Utah, just getting pounded. Then to end the week off statewide, we saw the snow, and just in time for the weekend, the storms moved away, giving us plenty of sunshine and actually temperatures above normal. Let me just highlight that as we give you a picture and a photo from Gary Walker. Always takes these great photos down in central and southern Utah. This is in Snow Canyon. Saw a lot of sunshine, temperatures throughout that region into the 50s today, as we found afternoon highs above normal statewide. Official high in Salt Lake City, 47 degrees today, where on average we should be in the upper 30s now. Looking at the record high of 63 degrees set back in 2003. We're not heading to the 60s, but for the Wasatch Front, we'll be seeing some 50s over the next few days. Right now, though, it's chilly. We're in the low 30s at this hour. Overnight lows dipping down into the 20s. We've got a few high clouds around. Winds remain calm. But as I said, we've been kind of turning a corner here the second half of January, and we need it as we were threatening to find the driest winter on record. But here's the thing. I want to lay out a couple of things. Now, early on in the winter, this was the storm track. We had high pressure to the west. The storms would move north and then slide east of the state, sometimes clipping northern Utah, not bringing much precipitation. We get a little bit of a cool down, but this is not what we wanted to see. But we stuck there throughout most of December, in the first part of January. Now, as we've been seeing over the past couple of weeks, this has been the storm track where we've seen this trough of low pressure towards the west. The storms move near California. Of course, they got pounded this past week, and then sliding towards the state, bringing the showers initially in southern Utah, then hitting the north, and then moving on. What we really need is a storm with a direct line. You know what they say, the shortest distance between 2 points is a direct line. Coming from the Pacific Northwest, where we've got the moisture, the cold air, and we get a direct hit, those are the storms that can produce 2 to 3 feet of snow up in the mountains, and we just have not seen those type of storms here throughout this winter. But we've got a storm on the way. Let's talk about what we potentially see with that pattern, where ahead of that next storm system, a few high clouds tracking through, posing no threat of any showers. The storm lining up. As we're seeing it right now, it's going to do two things. It's going to split initially and apart, moving to the south. Then we've got the northerly branch moving towards northern Utah. So we get hit kind of with the 1-2 punch. But as it does split, it loses its strength. It brings the precipitation, but not a lot. Again, we're looking for that storm which will have a direct hit across the state. Not getting it from this next storm, but it will add on, at least what the models are indicating, anywhere between 4 to 8 inches for the mountains of northern and central Utah, and a few showers across the south. Let's confirm that as we look at the computer models, where for tomorrow, we don't see any showers, but we do see a lot of cloud cover across the state. All throughout the state, it's mostly cloudy skies. Now, models showing maybe a few just light showers for the central mountains, really not much hitting the ground. That's not what we're looking at. It's late Tuesday into Wednesday morning. Our storm is lining up, and again, it will bring those showers across the state on Wednesday. So for tonight, it's mostly cloudy. Tomorrow, clouds hanging around. It's a little bit warmer, upper 40s to low 50s as we look from Salt Lake City through Provo, upper 40s through central Utah. We've got 50s in St. George, where temperatures will be climbing to the low 60s on Tuesday. You get hit with some rain on Wednesday. We'll keep temperatures in the 50s, but the possibilities of showers is just one day this week. Northern Utah, got a couple of days to look at. Ahead of our next storm, it warms up. Then we see a mixture of rain and snow early Wednesday morning. Out of there by Thursday. Weak storm Friday with some light snow showers. Temperatures will be colder as we head into the weekend, but for this week, we get a couple of seasons there. A hint of spring, but returning back to those winter temperatures by the end of the week, but no big storms here for the next 7 days.
Blockbuster and Hollywood Video may be gone, but there's still one place in Utah where you can rent thousands of DVDs. We'll take you there coming up.
Plus, is your kid an artist at heart? We'll explain how a major public transportation system in our state can help your child's artwork be seen across the state of Utah.
Pretty cool. And don't forget, when you can't watch Fox 13 live, you can watch us streaming online for free. We're on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV. Just search for Fox 13 on your favorite device. We'll be right back. Thanks so much for being with us tonight. The Utah Transit Authority giving young artists a pretty cool opportunity to get their artwork featured all across the state. UTA has announced the first My Beautiful Community Student Art Competition. A little play on words there. This year's theme is Meet Your Neighbor. Entries are encouraged to highlight the beauty and diversity of Utah's communities and people. The winning artwork will be displayed on UTA buses and trains for an entire year, beginning in April.
It's really a cool thing for young artists to try to get their work out there and let people see it, and also, you know, liven up our vehicles too, and bring some joy and some pleasure to people who are riding mass transportation.
It'll be fun to see it. Kindergartners through 12th graders are encouraged to enter between February 1st, that's tomorrow, through March 16th on their website. We can link you over there from fox13now.com.
New tonight, a Salt Lake City native is working to finish the job she started to make sure a complete stranger she's never met gets a new kidney. Last month, Kim Constantinesco donated her kidney to a Broadway performer named Jamal Shariah, who's been on dialysis since 2018. But the donated kidney failed just days after the operation. Doctors say the odds of that happening were between 0.5 and 1%.
When I learned that the kidney did not take for Jamal, I knew that I had to step up in a new kind of role, not only as a donor, but also an advocate for living kidney donation.
And now I have donors. I didn't realize so many people wanted to donate, but I have maybe like 7 people that want to donate, and I'm just waiting for a donor now.
And you can help if you'd like to assist Jamal on his journey. We've got a link to help you out over on our website, fox13now.com.
Still ahead in our next half hour, Utah Senator Mitt Romney among the handful of senators trying to negotiate with the president on a different kind of COVID-19 relief bill. We'll explain what Republicans are working on. That's coming up.
And it's a piece of an era long gone by. Video rental stores went by the wayside years ago, but there's still one that's going strong. We'll take you there in the newest installment of Uniquely Utah. Thanks for joining us at 9:30 in your national news tonight. A group of Senate Republicans asking President Joe Biden to work with them on a different COVID-19 relief plan.
Utah Senator Mitt Romney was among 10 GOP senators that sent a letter to the president today with an alternative to his $1.9 trillion stimulus package. Melissa Rainey picks up the story from here.
A counterproposal to President Biden's COVID-19 relief plan. 10 GOP senators sent a letter to Mr. Biden on Sunday asking for a meeting and the chance to work together on drafting the COVID-19 relief package.
It specifies the proposal that we think is more targeted and more appropriate for the times we're in. And my hope is the president will meet with us and we'll be able to work out something that is bipartisan. We've done it 5 times. You know, we've had 5 COVID-19 packages that are entirely bipartisan. Let's do it again, because that's what would be best for the country.
The Republican plan includes a total of $160 billion for vaccine development and distribution, testing and tracing, and treatment and supplies. The framework also includes a new round of direct payments, but not for everyone.
If you look at the administration's plan, you could have a family with 3 kids making almost $300,000 a year getting a check. And many of these people have had no impact from COVID. In fact, some are doing quite well, others are struggling. Let's focus on those who are struggling.
The proposal doesn't have an estimated cost just yet, but Senator Portman says it will be less than Biden's $1.9 trillion plan. Reps from the Biden administration say they're open to some of the GOP suggestions.
What I will say is that the provisions of the president's plan, the American Rescue Plan, were calibrated to the economic crisis that we face. We're certainly open to input from anywhere where we can find a constructive idea to make this package as effective as possible. But the president is uncompromising when it comes to the speed that we need to act at to address this crisis.
I'm Melissa Rainey reporting.
There's a push across the country to return to the classroom after some have been learning remotely for nearly a year. But before that can happen, many parents and educators have sought assurances that this return to the classroom will take place in a safe environment. Many schools are now partnering with hospitals to get teachers vaccinated as quickly as possible.
Hopefully we'll be able to take the kids back out into the world and do field trips again.
President Biden has said he'd like to see most schools reopen by late April. He is asking Congress for $130 billion for schools as a part of the next COVID relief package.
Over the weekend, a weather system dumped more snow on the Midwest than some areas had seen in years. Chicago getting almost 7 inches of snow by Sunday morning. By Sunday afternoon, the storm had moved over the mid-Atlantic, drenching our nation's capital in snow. That's in D.C. Now next in the storm's path, the tri-state area and New England, where it's expected to turn into a good old-fashioned nor'easter.
This is not a storm to underestimate. Take it seriously. This is a dangerous storm. If you do not need to be out and about on Monday, stay home.
The National Weather Service says the tri-state area could see snowfall of 1 to 3 inches an hour on Monday, with gusts of wind between 35 and 50 miles per hour, creating blizzard-like conditions.
Still to come, tomorrow is the beginning of Black History Month. We're going to take a look at the trials and tribulations that many faced this past year and how they've overcome.
As we go to a break, want to highlight the beautiful and awesome snow that Tony was up at Alta enjoying here this afternoon. You know what the kids say, shredding the gnar. Any gnarly weather in our forecast? Oh, my kids are shaking their heads with that weather tease. We'll have your weather forecast coming up after the break.
Hey, welcome back. So glad you're joining us here on this Sunday night. Amy and Brian Schnee here with you.
Now, Monday marks the first day of Black History Month, and across the country, people are raising awareness of the coronavirus pandemic's impact on the Black community.
But they're also celebrating their resilience, facing unprecedented challenges this past year. Nadia Romero takes a look back at the impact of COVID-19, protests, and the election on Black Americans.
A global pandemic, COVID-19 killing the father and grandfather of Detroit's Keith Gambrill.
It's very frustrating, it's heartbreaking, it's bitter, it's America.
The virus disproportionately impacting the Black community, highlighting long-standing inequities in health care. The CDC reports Black Americans dying at 3 times the rate of white Americans. In response, Thermo Fisher Scientific, a science equipment company, pledged $15 million for tests and equipment to historically Black colleges and universities in August.
This has gotten, Black and brown researchers excited. This is why we do what we do. The community that's given me so much growing up, it's really nice to be able to see more testing efforts being brought to DC.
Then came the COVID-19 vaccines, some Black people hesitant to get the shot.
We know that lack of trust is a major cause for reluctance, especially in communities of color. And that lack of trust is not without good reason, as the Tuskegee studies occurred within many of our own lifetimes.
While battling a new pandemic, an old foe reared its ugly head again: racism. Several states have now declared racism a public health emergency, acknowledging a painful past for Black Americans that's still felt in present day.
When I say George, you say Floyd. George, Floyd, George, Floyd.
The deaths of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and other Black Americans at the hands of police motivated a movement.
No justice, no peace.
people spilling into the streets, demanding an end to police brutality and racial inequality.
You must stand, you must fight, but not with violence.
Channeling the civil rights movement of the 1960s. With the heartbreaking loss of civil rights icon Congressman John Lewis, a renewed push for legislative change. The Congressional Black Caucus celebrating as the House passed a police reform bill named after George Floyd and urging more action.
Protests spread around the world, with people in other countries calling out human rights abuses in the United States.
Big companies like Google and Yelp stepped up. Perfect timing for Black business owners, shutting down in numbers twice as large as others during the pandemic, according to a report from the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. Just one glimmer of success in an unprecedented year, a year that included pain and protest after protest. Marching all the way to the ballot box for change.
The Black community came together and united to really put forth an effort to get everybody out to vote.
In Mississippi, a nearly 40-year fight finally won to replace the Confederate-themed state flag.
Black folk in this state are very proud. And young black folk don't have this flag to look to the rest of their lives.
In Georgia, electing its first Black U.S. senator. And nationally, a glass ceiling breaking.
I, Kamala Davy Harris, do solemnly swear.
The first woman and a person of color as vice president. Another historic moment to add to the long list of accomplishments celebrated during Black History Month. In Washington, I'm Nadia Romero.
Coming up, a full-service video store in Utah has survived Blockbuster, Netflix, and now the pandemic. Why do hundreds of people still frequent Top Hat Video? We find out in the latest edition of Uniquely Utah.
And later in sports, Tony Finau in the hunt yet again. The finish from the Farmers. Plus, it's been quite a ride lately for Jazz fans. And Red Hot Utah got Donovan back just in time for the Nuggets Sunday. Highlights from Denver in a bit.
Long before Netflix and Hulu, there were so many stores that rented movies on VHS and DVD.
I remember wandering through the aisles at times. Yes, places like Hollywood Video and Blockbuster, well, they're long gone. But there is at least one local video rental store that's still going strong here in Utah.
Fox 13's Todd Tanner takes us to Top Hat Video in Bountiful in this latest edition of Uniquely Utah.
We feel like we're a film library, and we have this mission to preserve film.
Around the country, video rental stores have nearly disappeared.
Top Hat Video.
But in Bountiful, Utah,
Top Hat's been around for 38 years.
this busy shop has seen the coming and going of chains like Blockbuster Video.
It was probably our biggest competition.
And now with streaming services and even a pandemic, Top Hat hangs in there. Not just in spite of those things, but perhaps because of them.
You can sit on your couch and never leave your couch. You can have food delivered to you. You can have your movies delivered to you. But you don't have the human connection. I think people miss that human connection. I've been watching for you every day when it comes in.
They make us feel welcome. They're just like family.
Yeah, good people. Lynn and Jerry Godfrey come once a week.
We do like to watch film, especially since we've been isolated at home, you know.
And we like the Westerns and we like the drama. There's a lot of good drama.
There are almost 33,000 titles here on Blu-ray and DVD, and even 2 still on VHS.
We hold on to Takedown, which was a wrestling movie that was filmed at Viewmont High School, and Rad, which is the pretty popular BMX biking movie back in the 80s.
Speaking of VHS,
we turn your home videos, VHS, camcorder tapes into DVD or digitize them.
that side service brings in extra bucks to help keep Top Hat open.
Once video stores are gone, a lot of films will be lost. So when VHS was out and DVD came out, there was a lot of movies that didn't make that format leap. And then now we have Blu-ray, and a lot of DVDs aren't making that format leap as well.
Yeah, that was a good show. That was a good show.
If you're longing for a favorite flick from the past,
Well, I found one.
or maybe something new recommended by a real live person, there's at least one place left. In Bountiful,
1448 for you, go for it.
Todd Tanner, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Well, there was nothing quite like it, right? Trying to figure out what your evening would look like.
You know how long it's been since I pushed play on a VHS S? Oh my goodness.
Probably been a while.
It has been a while. Love waiting for that to rewind. Wait a good 10 minutes.
Boy, things have changed, haven't they?
They have changed.
Yeah.
That is for sure. And we've got some changes here over the past couple of weeks in that we've been finally getting into the storm cycle. Throughout the weekend, though, a welcome break where we got a lot of sunshine and temperatures above normal. Want to highlight with another photo coming in from Scott Taylor looking over the Great Salt Lake. Yeah, just a few high clouds around, but we kept the air quality good. Visibility was great. Winds were light, spectacular across the state where temperatures got up into the 50s in St. George. Right now, though, you're in the upper 40s. Still mostly clear skies. You've got some clouds that are going to be tracking through here tonight, posing no threat of any showers. Right now in Salt Lake City, we're at 31 degrees. Winds light. Visibility is good. We don't have any concerns of the development of patchy fog here tonight. And as temperatures have been climbing throughout the weekend, they'll continue to climb with high pressure still in place. Got a cloudy start to your work week. Initially with these clouds, no threat of any showers, but there is an approaching storm. Looks to reach us by the middle of the week, and it will bring some precipitation. The question is, will we see rain or snow for the valleys across northern Utah? Well, let's talk about that, but first, as we look forward tonight, as I mentioned, we're beginning to see those clouds move in. It's going to be a gray day tomorrow. We don't see the blue sky. Winds remain light, but we're under the southwest flow with high pressure moving off towards the east, which will allow temperatures to continue to be above normal and even climb more so on Tuesday. Now, we do have a storm system slow to move. Looks like it is going to be breaking up as it brings showers across southern and northern Utah as we look towards Wednesday, as it will be a fairly short-lived storm. But let's talk about the possibility of some snow initially from this next storm system. Again, tomorrow we don't see a chance of showers. We move through Tuesday, we don't see that threat. Again, it's early Wednesday morning when we start to see the snow. It begins to fill in with the biggest focus across northern into central Utah. You take a look at this color of blue. We're kind of in that 4 to 8 inch range there as we look at the ski resorts across northern Utah, and not having much of an impact across the south, but you will see some rain showers in southern Utah. And for the valleys, at least as we look throughout the central to the southern end of the Wasatch Front, it's going to kind of be a mixture of some rain and snow on Wednesday. So let's get you through tonight, through tomorrow, and then heading for your morning commute. No concerns weather-wise as we'll be looking at some clouds. Temperatures as we'll start off into the 30s, working our way up into the 40s. Afternoon highs getting up into the mid to upper 40s, which again is above normal by about 5 to 10 degrees. Low 50s in Provo, 30s still holding on in Price, mid 40s in Moab. We've got mid 50s in St. George, where for the Dixie area, it's going to be cloudy tomorrow, sunshine Tuesday. People golfing on Tuesday. A little interruption on Wednesday with some rain showers and cooler heading into the weekend. Northern Utah, as we're going to be taking a look on Monday, we got mostly cloudy skies, upper 40s. And then Tuesday, it's low 50s. So, boy, 50s along the Wasatch Front with 60s down in St. George. That's feeling like spring. Then the storm hits. It brings, as I said, a mixture of rain and snow. Could see some snowflakes for the valleys, maybe a little bit later on Wednesday afternoon into the evening. All in all, though, it's not going to bring snow accumulations to most of the valley floors. Mountains, as I said, maybe 4 to 8 inches Thursday. We got a few clouds, light snow showers Friday, not a big storm at all. And then for the weekend, looks like we're free of storms, but it will be colder as we bring those winter temperatures back with a nice climb into the 50s as we head into Tuesday.
Riding their longest win streak in 3 years, the Jazz still can't help but feel burned by what could have been over the summer, sporting a 3-1 lead on the Nuggets inside the bubble. Denver coming all the way back to oust Utah in 7, making some history in the process. The Jazz would very much like to forget. Among their 11 wins since January 8th, one of those was a revenge victory over Denver, and this afternoon had the chance to do it again, this time to match the franchise's longest win streak since 2009. And look who's back, Donovan Mitchell, cleared to lace up again after sitting out the last 2 with a mild concussion. Start with a double dose of Nikola Jokic, who had everything working from the jump from the top this time over Derek Favors, with the Nuggets completing a 43-point first quarter, doing to Utah what Utah's been doing to everybody else, killing them softly with that money ball. Michael Porter Jr. this time, tickling some twine, then picking up where he left off in Orlando, Jamal Murray. He pops one. The Nuggets lead 18 and counting. As for Donovan, rusty to put it mildly, creates his own shot here, but it doesn't go. Utah down 23 at the break. They do make a run in the third. Spida finally gets one to drop after the kick out. Just 13 for him on 3 at 12 from the field. No dice Joe Ingles, but the loose ball does somehow find Jordan Clarkson. Sweet stroke to cut it down to 9. But the momentum stopped in the fourth. Porter waiting from some empty real estate there, while Jokic picked a heck of a time to match a career high. With 47 today, slick move to wiggle it through as the streak unfortunately ends at 11. The Utah Stars begin their season a week from Wednesday in Orlando, and today the Jazz assigned first-round pick Udakaza Buki to their G League affiliate. The rookie was averaging only 1 point and 1 rebound a game in limited minutes this season with the Jazz. 7 weeks ago, the Utah women upset then 15th-ranked Oregon State in Corvallis. A great win for the program. Then again, since that time, they've gone 2-8 in the Pac-12. The Lady Beavers now unranked in Salt Lake this afternoon for the rematch. Start with the corner Canyon kid, Cameron Martin, followed by Brenna Maxwell, who tallied 34 the last time against OSU, 27 more on Sunday. But the Roadies reeled off a 20-0 spurt between the second and third quarters. Aaliyah Goodman with the 3 to lift Oregon State up 12. Utah rallied within 2 in the fourth, but Talia Val-Alhofen answers with a big one for Black as Utah falls 84-74. Tony Finau entered Sunday 4 strokes off the Farmers Insurance Open lead. Start at 13, where he nearly eagles out of the bunker. Pretty dang close. He did tap in for one of his 7 birdies. 4 bogeys as well, though, missing a gimme at 14, which may have ended his shot at gaining some ground on the leader. But if that didn't do it, this one definitely did. The approach on the final hole ends up in the drink, so he'll settle for a 5-way tie for second today at 9 under. The winner, 4 strokes better at -13. Patrick Reed, a really handsome putt there. And then to cap it in California. And on the ice, the Grizzlies ending a 3-game set with Allen. Poor Jack Jenkins taking several uppercuts Sunday. Utah getting even with the sticks here. Cedric Parry, the poke. And then Hunter Skinner, his first career goal. 2-0 Grizz after a period. The Americans get the score at 3-2 late in the second. Matt Register on it down at the Maverick Center. But in the third, Utah scores off the face-off here. Skinner again as the Grizzlies end a 3-game slide 4-3. The final. We'll be right back.
Finally tonight, a birthday parade for a Lehigh girl battling cancer. The Lehigh Police Department paraded their vehicles in front of young Brooklyn's house for her birthday yesterday. She was even brought a present by Sergeant Brems and Corporal Hammer from the department. Police held the parade to honor Brooklyn's strength and courage as she fights through her sickness.
Yeah, what a nice thing to do. Protecting and serving and a whole lot of service with that show of support. Very
Absolutely.
cool.
I can get behind.
Yeah. Thanks so much for watching Fox 13 News at 9 tonight.
QuickCast is up next. Sports page after that. Have a great night.